So, this was an interesting episode because I actually came really close to liking it. I would say it's sort of different from the last episode where I almost like it to this being it came close to me liking it but missed the mark so entirely that I just hate it even more than if I actually hated it. So yeah, that's kind of where I stand on this episode. It's sort of a weird place because I'm just like, man, there's a lot I almost like in this episode. Like the episode concept itself, like I'm always a fan of a Dr. Light episode or a sort of like separation from the companion and the doctor. I'm always a fan of those. Love them. Love them. Like, some of my favorite episodes. I'm not talking about Blink. I'm not that basic. But, yeah, so this episode, it started out really good. I liked the doctor showing up in the beginning where it was the present for him, but the character that we're following, was back in his past. Quite cool. I like it. And then they foreshadow that maybe our character isn't the most honest person with his mom saying, I said mum like they say it in Doctor Who, with his mother, his mom, I'm not English. Anyway, with her saying, oh, not another lie, sort of implying that lying is sort of a habit for this character. So it plants the seeds of okay, maybe he's not trustworthy, or maybe he has something of a habit of lying. Cool, I'm on board with it. And then he has a podcast. I don't like it. I don't like podcasts being part of Doctor Who. It's just not fun. It's not cool. I don't like it. But okay, so part of this isn't just the fact that it's a podcast, but it's that the podcast in the context of the story just doesn't really make sense to me. Where he's like, oh, I met this alien, right? I saw this guy called the Doctor, and then eventually I saw him again, and now I'm talking to the lady who was there with him. It was all just very, I don't know, it didn't seem really like how that would go down, I guess. I don't know, I'm trying to figure out quite why that didn't sit right with me. But then, of course, the deeper part of that is he asks Ruby to be on this podcast, right? Where he talks about, oh, the Doctor, I love the Doctor. Okay, and then later he ends up being part of this group called Think Tank that says aliens aren't real, it's all just a blah 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 blah. So has he built up a podcast on the false idea that he believes in the aliens and unit and all these stuff? That doesn't make sense that someone would have an entire podcast where they just pretend to have one point of view and then later they're like, oh, I actually have the opposite point of view, and now I'm popular for saying that. I mean, sure, we have people who um, like change opinions and are more left leaning, and then they become more right leaning in like political space and stuff like that. But to go as far as like, oh, my podcast that I do regularly and has a lot of followers, because that's something they say in the episode, but I'm just, working on it as all just part of a little scheme to, try and get this girl who's involved with Unit to fall in love with me, and uh, my my beefs with Unit. But then I saw the Doctor and I saw the TARDIS appear, but like that has nothing to do with my motivation. But yet, it's a convenient cover story that I love the Doctor and aliens, and it's like, what? This doesn't make sense. So, that's the podcast. The podcast doesn't make sense. Uh, yeah, moving on. So, after that, you have, him and Ruby going on dates. They got the stuff with the parents. It's fine. A little, I kind of feeling like, can we get on with the story now? But that's probably just my brain, like, sort of wants more fast paced stories. Though I do enjoy some very slow stories as well. But yeah, so in the moment I was like, this is taking a long time to get to something, to get to anything. But I think, honestly, I think the pacing was probably pretty good. It's just, I was like waiting for something to happen. I don't know. It's probably an issue with me. It's not your fault, it's mine. Not your fault, Russell. It's mine. So, yeah, all that happened. And then here's what makes me so mad, because this is the biggest area where I almost liked it. You know that I love some scary Doctor Who, and they had this really cool scene of like this creature that's hunting him, and the lights are blinking, and then the creature puts its hand on his shoulder and it goes. I would think it said that, but anyway, the scary scene. Um, oh, it was so cool. It was so beautiful, and like, I was like, oh yes, we're gonna have another scary episode. Maybe I'm gonna have to start my video by saying, oh man, they did it again. They did another episode I liked. So I was like, oh, I really want this to be awesome and me to like this. Uh, so I watched it. I was like, oh, it's getting scary. And then, like, of course, that was all in his head. Um, which, again, didn't make sense if he doesn't really believe in aliens. But, like, I think there is trying to be, like, a sort of subtext that he does actually secretly believe in aliens, but his motivation makes no sense. I'm gonna say that a bunch of times in this video. Take a drink every time I do, just kidding. Alcoholism, not recommended for me. So, yeah, what happened next? So then, they keep dating, falling in love, blah, 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 blah. And then we have Ruby getting paranoid. I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. And then we had the reveal of, again, like, that part was really pretty scary, and I like scariness in Doctor Who, so I liked it. And I was even sort of hoping, like, when the monsters were coming and attacking, I was like, I hope the boyfriend is sort of a bad guy, right? Like, I didn't put together how they were going to do it, but I was like, I hope he's sort of evil. because I like that. And also, like, I think the actor who played him did a really good job. Like, I, I really liked his character. Um, After and before the flip, I thought the actor played him in just sort of a maybe not a charismatic way, but like a like I think he was well acted on like both sides of the character. So then there was the switch there. Um, at first, I was like, okay, I'm kind of digging this, but then uh, I but then after that, I kind of was sort of started to see problems where it's like, first off, like, I feel there's a lot of sort of heavy handed meta commentary about maybe a couple people on the internet who are not fans of Doctor Who, um, which honestly, like, you know, Russell, listen, buddy, you aren't doing yourself any favors by, like, you know, writing hate messages to a large percent of your fan base. Like, that's not how you get season 3 picked up, Russell. If you want season 3 picked up, maybe maybe don't do that. Maybe don't talk about how people who used to like your show but now don't are evil. Maybe don't do that, Russell. Maybe that's not the way to go about it, buddy. Anyway, so yeah, the meta commentary definitely sort of stepped in there. Again, I don't know the bad guy boyfriend. I forget his name. I don't care. I forget. Yeah, I don't understand his motivation. Um, I I just I didn't get why he was doing what he was doing. They said a lot of things and none of them connected. At the same time, the acting was really good. I really liked him. Um, and then also there's just sort of like a sort of thing in this episode where it's like, oh, the establishment is the good guys, and the sort of like, you know, um, anti-establishment is is evil, um, and that's not my vibe. I don't vibe with that. I would trust the government, so um, making an episode of Doctor Who that tells me I just have to trust the government. Not a fan. Um, so yeah, there was kind of that there, and um, and like that sort of leads to I think the biggest problem of the episode is I know who they wanted me to root for. It was Unit. They wanted me to root for Unit, but the bad guy was just so much more charismatic. He didn't feel like he had the character of like, what, Mr. Clean, right? Like just uh I don't know, all of Unit just came across like really preachy and just weird, and then this guy comes in and like he has actual like sort of character depth, even though his motivation didn't make sense. Don't get me wrong, his motivation made no sense, but he was a like actually troubled soul, let's say, who like struggled with ideology. Again, he was good, well acted. Um, and I'm like, how can you give like all these bland lines and bland performances to the good guys and expect me not to root for this bad guy that you had, very well casted, right? He's anti-establishment, which I relate to a little bit. Anti-censorship, right? Because they had that line where they were like, "Oh, you're censoring us," and yeah, I'm anti-censorship. So, um, goodness, yeah, it's just there is so much. Um, there's so much. I I just wanted to root for the bad guy. I'm not like trying to say, oh, this character was the good guy in this story because blah 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 blah. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he was more likable than the good guys in this episode. Um, and that's particularly in that latter half. Um, so yeah, there was, and then we did get to see some darkness from, um, oh, what's her name? The Brigadier's daughter, the woman who's in charge of unit now. We got to see like some sort of darkness from her, which was great. I love that. Yeah, that was really good, and like that's the sort of nuanced storytelling that I like in Doctor Who. I don't like these sort of punching bag characters, which your villain in this episode was, which your soldier guy in the last episode uh, also was, right? Like I'm so tired of people who write comic books, who make TV shows, just being like, oh yes, and this is Donald Trump, and see how bad Donald Trump is? It's like, okay, dude, cool. I'm so glad you're, preaching to me by creating a straw man of an actual human being. I hate it. I don't like it. Yeah, then the doctor shows up to him. I feel this speech was very much Russell talking to, again, certain people who haven't really been liking Doctor Who. So, yeah, I'll play that.
But you're special for all the wrong reasons. You see, I am fighting a battle on behalf of everyday people who just want to get through their day and feel safe and warm and fed. And then along comes this noise all day long, this relentless noise. Cowards like you, weaponizing lies, taking people's insecurity and fear and making it currency. You are exhausting. You stamp on the truth, choke our bandwidth and shred our patience, because the only strategy you have is to wear us down. But the thing is, Conrad, I have energy to burn and all the time in the universe.
What is this? An intervention? Are you here to save my soul?
You betrayed my friend. You want spoilers? I'll tell you your future. You die in a prison cell, boiling in anger and poison, until your heart packs in age 49, alone and unloved, forgotten. The world carries on, the world gets better. You aren't even a footnote, just ashes on the wind.
I don't accept your reality.
So yeah, I just, when I listened to that, I was like, oh, he's just talking to you know who. And again, it's like, whatever. You aren't doing yourself any favors. Yeah, and then I think that is about all of what I have to say on this episode. It's kind of hard, like, doing a review like this, because I know there's a good chance after this, like, some of my opinions are going to change. Yeah, this is just my off-the-cuff thoughts, and there's a chance I might make a more in-depth thoughts video. Anyway, so yeah, that's all of what I want to talk about for this episode. Maybe you enjoyed it more than I did. Do you also like when Doctor Who gets a little scared? Because I like it when Doctor Who gets a little bit scared. Yeah, thank you for watching. If you want to watch more Doctor Who videos, they're right there. If you want to watch something else, right there. Yeah, but thank you for watching. Live long and prosper, my friend, and have a lovely day.